Hello again, welcome back to my Tomb Raider Remastered Let's Play, and today, Tomb of Qualopec, or Qualopec, as my childhood brain always called it. Is that that looks like a gap above the door. I never ever noticed that before. Was that always there? Wow. There you go. 20 years on. Still finding new things. So, this level starts very, very similar to all the others. All the textures and everything are the same kind of thing, the same kind of blue and brown grey rocks. You even get the sound of the waterfall from the previous level when you go around here, which was kind of unnecessary, but I like that it's there. And the 3 levels so far have all had their differences, obviously they're unique elements, but it has all been kind of samey, so at first I think you could be forgiven for basically thinking, oh, another level of the same sort of thing. And then suddenly it's entirely new. For the longest time I've looked at these and thought, or looked at this kind of area, I mean it was much brighter in the original, that's almost garish. I don't know actually, they're both bright and garish in their own way. But I looked at this and I go around the level looking at this and thinking, God, that seems to have just come out of the blue completely, but of course it's actually pretty much the same as the sort of the decor and the carvings and stuff in the city of Vilcabamba. So thought has been put into it, and straight up here for the Indiana Jones boulder. Wow, which is no longer a sphere. Let's have a look at that. That is, yeah, that's much more like an actual rock compared to the original sphere. That's pretty cool. Also, is that the same? No, it always was. But it's much more obvious now, like the same texture as the rock around it. So it looks like it's obviously been kind of designed to, look like it's been cut from the rock that the people who built this tomb will have had access to. God, that's the most mundane point I've ever made. I have to confess, the very first time I played this game, as I think I mentioned in the Vilcabamba playthrough, I got totally stuck. I think a friend actually had some cheats for it. I don't know where from. Excuse me. Yawning today, but might have noticed I'm a bit less sniffly than on my earlier videos. So I ended up just cheating and kind of having a look at each level, and pretty much, wow, that raptor's appeared pretty quickly. Oh, and there's 2. I swear there was only one Velociraptor there. So I just called that a Velociraptor because last time I spoke to my mum, she mentioned a Velociraptor, and that pronunciation just really amused me. Yeah, in almost all the levels I would basically get like to the first room and just seem to be completely lost, and I'm thinking, right, this game is totally beyond me. I mean, it's hidden away a little bit, but I do not know how I didn't see that. So, into the main area. I'm just going to save here. Right, full disclaimer, I went through and did this first puzzle, and I messed it up so much that I actually was completely lost with what I was doing, which is kind of remarkable given that I have played this game a lot of times. I mean, I don't know it anywhere near as well as the others. Because I flicked that switch, which you have to ignore. That's a first. That's a sneaky little bit, and I would imagine a lot of people get that wrong. But I can understand people getting kind of stumped by it because, yeah, you know, these games are not easy, sort of, on the puzzle stakes. But as someone who has played the game many times, I really shouldn't have got so completely and utterly lost. And I really just couldn't work out what I was doing. I know Tomb Raider 2 inside out, but the other games I do sometimes get to these sorts of puzzles and go, what am I doing? But never to the extent of that. I was just totally baffled then. Right, so that door that's opened just takes us back to the start, where that switch that I ignored a minute ago was. This is where I went wrong. I need to go up here and pull this switch, and then that should move the blocks into place. Yeah, I basically remembered it as you can either move, like, both the switches basically do the same thing, but they don't, which means I'd forgotten there was a second switch that did something different, so I thought it's just going to put them back. What am I even doing? And now it's finally time to flip this switch. Yeah, that's right. One switch moves one block, one switch moves the other. I thought that first time, then thought they moved both, and oh. I can't imagine doing this for the first time. And now that other block has moved, so I can make it across both blocks to the other switch. Ta-da! Ooh, and I randomly let a raptor out, even though you can't actually see it. What I want to know is how the raptors got in here. I mean, the Lost Valley, you get the feeling that the Incan people who lived here probably avoided that a lot, what with the flesh-eating dinosaurs. And they just hid this tomb behind a waterfall underneath their city. But apparently there's a bunch of raptors in the tomb itself, which is bizarre. Right, so that was the bird puzzle. Now on to the... what's that? Octopus? That looks like a lion. I don't know what that is. I'm saying it's an octopus. So on to the octopus puzzle. This is basically a very sort of simplified introduction to the kind of multi-puzzle room format. Again, all four of these opening levels have got a different kind of, what's that, level layout. God, I think this is possibly the biggest improvement to the overall graphics. Like, I used to find this level really ugly. I think the sort of pixelation is so obvious because of it's all kind of meant to be carved designs, so there's no broad lines or patterns. It's all very, very detailed, so it really shows up the pixelation. I used to really hate the look of this level, but it suddenly looks really fantastic. So I think, yeah, there's kind of this idea that you've got different puzzles in different rooms and you have to complete all of them. It's a recurring theme, certainly throughout the core games anyway. It goes right through to Angel of Darkness, and again, this is the earliest example of it. It's sort of an introduction to it. It doesn't label itself dramatically, so I don't think I saw those kind of animals above the doorways for a long time. That is the first proper trick switch. It looks like it is, yeah, it is actually a functional switch, but you can't actually reach it. Instead, you fall into a pit of wolves that, wow, attack you straight away. On the plus side, those are the last wolves I'll have to kill in this game. And also I seem to do a lot better than this chap, who kept those wolves busy for a while. And I think this guy probably just fell and broke his neck. It's remarkable that they passed through all this danger and still ended up dying in a relatively simple way. The ring on the side, oh, it's actually embossed this time. Used to just be part of the pattern. Signifies the movable block, which is, again, that's kind of different. You have to explore and learn, which is fine. The game doesn't hold your hand at all. And what's down there? Is that spikes? No, that's just nothing. But yeah, I like the encouragement to explore. Medipack. Is that my first pickup of the level? It's interesting that this area... Actually, no. I was going to say something completely stupid then. I was going to say this area doesn't end in a boss fight, but of course it does. And yeah, is that a lion? Don't think they had lions in Peru, but their local equivalent. Yeah, unlike Tomb Raider 3 at least, the kind of boss fights happen at the end of an existing level, which I tend to prefer. I think if you make them sort of standalone things, it feels a little bit... I say it feels a little bit contrived. I mean, you know, there's no hiding that this is a game. It can't pass for reality, but I much prefer it when they are just part of the kind of adventure rather than things that are really signposted. And that switch is a different colour for some reason. I'm assuming these crumbling blocks mean spikes. Spikes with blood and no body. Who knows, maybe the bone's disintegrated. But with that, I've opened up all three of the gates which lead to, which lead to Qualopec's tomb. At this point, we haven't really seen any of the actual story of the game. We have, obviously, you know, there's a couple of opening FMVs which you see Natla being freed from her tomb by the nuclear test, and you see Natla also kind of hire Lara for this job. But otherwise, all we know is that we're looking for an artifact in the tomb of Qualopec. That's it. Now, I'm going to save this because I know I will fall down at the wrong bit. There is somewhere where you can... Oh, that's it. That's the wrong. Which, I mean, this is ludicrously sneaky secret. Two in the same room for a start. But there's no way to kind of assume that you're going to land there without getting impaled. but clearly you do. And of course, if you don't aim the jump back up right, you end up getting impaled. Right, how do we get out of here? This is a running jump. Right, and that's the final two secrets. I only just realised that the compass actually gives you your stats for some 3 of 8 pickups. Wow, what on earth have I missed? I mean, I know that there's another secret and there's the ski on to pick up. That'd be 5. Oh, I'm not very observant. I swear on the original game it only just literally gave you a compass and that's it. But I'm just misremembering, I'm sure. Now this is a nice little bit of foreshadowing. And for some reason I didn't think it did that. I thought it only fell when you shot it. Okay, that scared me. Here's Qualopec, one of the ancient rulers of Atlantis, with some sort of weird, I don't know. They're not wings, they're kind of artificial legs because he was injured at some point. But again, you don't really... I mean, they're fused into his skeleton, which is kind of scary and gives you an idea of kind of what the Atlanteans were capable of. And here is a mummified Atlantean, complete with teeth bared. That's sinister. But yeah, these don't do anything. You can't even shoot that one. That's just a model. They're there guarding Qualopec. And I'm saving because this is probably the easiest part of the level to die in. And here we are. The first piece of the ski on. This music's slightly silly. And the aim here is to get out without that happening. Hold on, did I pick it up? I didn't even pick it up. I'm assuming this is kind of the last kind of security thing to stop anyone stealing the incredibly powerful artifact. As the tomb falls apart around us. And now, before I get into the final showdown of the game, a hole in the ground has opened up, and I've won the achievement of finding all secrets in Peru. This isn't there in the previous level. So this sort of hole opens up randomly. And more Uzi clips. No, Magnum clips. Well, they'll do as well. It's another one that's got one of these. I'm assuming that's an opening. It's meant to be kind of sunset at this point, which means all the ones in the tomb were openings as well. So yeah, that's all secrets done in Peru, and it's time to come out and say hello to Larson. Now, Larson's an idiot. I could do with some health. Oops. I could also do with not falling into the water for no reason. Larson is portrayed as an idiot. A bit less so here than in Chronicles, but he's definitely not... He's not a brainy guy. But somehow he's managed to get through kind of... I wasn't watching my house. What the earth am I doing? Alright, let's try that again. Oh. This is clearly not my day for tomb raiding. Yeah, it does seem kind of odd that if Larson's employed by Natla, I don't understand why she sent Lara. If Larson can get through the majority of this unscathed, seemingly. I mean, it's quite possible he would have fallen at the final hurdle and been crushed by the falling ceiling, but yeah, he seems to be quite a capable explorer if he's got through all this without any problem at all. The original plan with the game was actually to have Larson kind of turning up throughout these levels, much in the way that Pierre does in the Greek levels. And I'm kind of glad they didn't do that, because it would have just been just a bit too much going on for the beginning of the game. And of course it would make, narratively, it would make no sense whatsoever.
Well, you have my total attention now. I'm not quite sure if I've got yours though. Hello?
I'll heel and hide you to a barn door yet.
Of course.
You and that driveling piece of the ski-on. You want to keep it so bad, I'll harness it right up your...
Wait. We're talking about the artifact here?
Damn straight we are, right up.
Hold on. I'm sorry. This piece you say, where's the rest?
Miss Natla put Pierre DuPont on that trail.
And where is that?
Ha! You ain't fast enough for him.
So you think all this talking is just holding me up?
I don't know where his little jackrabbit frog legs are running him to. You'll have to ask Miss Natla.
Thank you. I will.
And my achievement, I've finished Peru. I was kind of confused at first, because he fell to the floor before his life bar had gone down, but of course that makes sense. He's not actually, we don't actually kill him here. Although how anyone takes that amount of bullets, I don't know. So yeah, we've finally picked up the first part of the ski-on. At first we think that's it. I mean, that will be a very short game, but Lara thinks that's the only artifact Natla's looking for, but it turns out it's only one piece of it. And Natla has sent another explorer, Pierre DuPont, who Laura might have met before, Timing of Chronicles again, off after the remaining pieces. The cutscene there is fantastic. It's really nice to actually see facial expressions and mouths moving and stuff like that. The cutscenes are always a little bit, possibly the kind of dated worse than the rest of the games, because the models are terrible. The worst one was what's he called, Dr. Willard in the third game. When he turns up in the cutscene at the end of Antarctica, he looks like he's one of his own mutations in that. It's really, really awful. So it's really good to see kind of Natla and Larson and Lara actually conversing like human beings there. And that's it. But we get an FMV. I had no idea what was going on here, apart from Lara melting her own glove there. Yeah, I was not following the story whatsoever at first. The stories aren't exactly spelled out. But she's... what's that? A window cleaner's lift or something. She's using to go up the side of the Natla building. Sunglasses effortlessly placed without blowing off in the wind. And she's finished her mission, but obviously now she's curious as to what on earth is going on with the rest of the artifact.
Is that entombed beneath our monastery is the body of Tiuken, one of the 3 legendary rulers waters of the lost continent Atlantis, and that within lies his piece of the Atlantean Scion, a pendant divided and shared between the three rulers, which curbs tremendous powers. Powers beyond the Creator himself. My toes sweat at such possibilities, lying so close to my mortal self. Each night, I beat myself rid of these fantasies, but it is indeed a test.
Pierre, you litterbug.
So Lara has learned that there are... Oh, wow, there's another amazing bit. Yeah, Lara's learned that there are 3 Atlantean rulers, and they each had a piece of this Scion, and one of them is Tihocan, who is entombed in below a monastery in Greece, where we shall pick up the game next time. But yeah, I was saying, when I first played it, I didn't really take in what was going on in the cutscenes or the FMVs, and I genuinely thought that basically one level led on to another throughout the entire game, so you could leave one, kind of exit through one door and then start the next level like you do in each zone. And for some reason with that, I assumed that the whole thing was just one long journey that took Lara from Peru to the Egyptian pyramids. Now I have no idea how that would work, because that's thousands and thousands of miles and going under the sea and everything. But no, then I started actually paying attention to the game and realised that we are now in Greece, in a monastery on top of a very large lump of rock, and we'll spend the next few levels working our way down. So I hope you enjoyed this playthrough, and please like, subscribe, share, comment, and I will see you for St. Francis Folly next time.